Operation Ajax was an operation led by the CIA, not the FBI, but it's worth talking about, so I'm going to mention it here, and was also in collaboration with the British intelligence agency MI6, a group you've probably heard of. Operation Ajax revolves around Iran, oil, and overthrown governments, and you can probably already see where this is going. During the 1950s, a certain man was gaining a lot of popularity in Iran, a man named Mohammad Mossadegh, and he became very popular and well-liked because he was able to nationalize the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, which essentially took the control of the oil production out of British hands, keeping the profit for the country of Iran. Something that citizens would obviously appreciate, but who didn't appreciate it was the British government, because they had just lost money and power. And because of this, Iran was becoming more and more anti-Western and nationalistic in their sentiments, at least according to Britain. And when Britain tried to retaliate on their own, they failed. And because of that, they turned to the United States asking for help. And their claim to the United States was, hey, Mossadegh is getting a lot of power in Iran, and he's also pretty left-leaning, and this might invite the Soviets into the region and cause a lot more communism than we want to deal with. And basically, the British government could have stopped at left-leaning because the US government was already in. Keep in mind, this is the 1950s, this is post-World War II, approaching Cold War era, but it doesn't even really matter what time it is because America is anti-communist and they were ready to rumble. Once the United States government joined forces with the British government, Project Ajax was fully underway. The ultimate goal of this collaboration was to remove Mossadegh from power and install new management in the country of Iran that were more to the liking of the British and American governments. Part of what the British and American governments ended up doing was creating massive propaganda campaigns within Iran, bribing Iranian officials, infiltrating the press to spread messages that were more aligned with what the British and Americans wanted, and organizing intentionally violent riots in the street of Iran so that they could blame it on Mossadegh's incompetent government. And with all of these tactics and others put together, the goal of making Mossadegh seem unfit worked. And it set the stage for the return of the previous political system they had prior to Mossadegh, which was monarchical control. And once all of the covert operations from the US and British government worked, the Iranian military themselves actually backed the pro-Shah factions that were emerging in Iran and forced Mossadegh out of power. At this point, with the power vacuum in full effect, the US and the UK installed their own preferred monarch, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. And this installed ruler ruled as the autocratic monarch for the next 26 years, and coincidentally, during his time in power, had rather substantial support from the West. That was until 1979 when the Islamic Revolution happened. When all of this was going on, there was a lot of people that were suspicious that this coup that the US government was essentially subsidizing and taking part in was happening. But of course, the US government and the British government denied it for many, many years. But decades later, the files surrounding Operation Ajax became declassified, and the CIA formally acknowledged its role in this coup that they had orchestrated in Iran in the 1950s. But by that point, the damage was already done. To me, one of the craziest things about this was that Mossadegh was actually democratically elected, meaning that the people wanted him in there, and he was in power at the will of the citizens of Iran. And as democratic as the US and British governments claim to be, they definitely don't appear to be fans of democracy when it doesn't directly benefit them, which is interesting. And it just makes you think, was there a Red Scare there?